Sibby, welcome back to campus. My name is Dr. Brian Hooker. I am a professor of biology and biotechnology at Simpson University. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Well, it's great to be back, Dr. Hooker, to Simpson, and I'm glad that we have this opportunity to meet. My name is Sibby Sabu, as you mentioned. I am a Simpson graduate from the biology program. After I graduated from Simpson, there was a few months, just like any other graduate, has that sort of a time between the time you graduate, feeling all hyped, ready to take on the world, to when you actually get an opportunity to work in the industry or pursue whatever opportunities that you're passionate about. And for me, that time was about 4 months. I had an opportunity to work with one of the biggest biopharmaceutical companies in the United States, Gilead Sciences, based out of Foster City, California. My role there was to be a project manager for an analytical chemistry group.
Wow.
Developing small molecule therapeutics for hepatitis C. And so it definitely was a stretch, but I credit Simpson and the biology program and all the information that I had access to that helped me grow and develop a foundation that enabled me to thrive in that environment.
Right.
But fortunately enough, after that, I currently am working as a project management intern at a biotechnology company called EpiBiome in South San Francisco, one of the biggest hubs in the United States for biotechnology. Been fortunate enough to kind of be in this area where biotechnology has such a great hub and has such great opportunity, and to be in the middle of it, to see all the opportunities that are unfolding, all the advancements that are being made, it's just a great time to be a part of biotechnology.
Excellent, excellent. Now, in addition, have you continued at your education? Or are you planning on continuing your education?
Yes, so I knew that if I wanted to propel my career forward in biotechnology, I needed to do something, and one of the options that was always encouraged at Simpson was to pursue a grad degree. And so I decided what I needed to do was to do a master's degree in biotechnology, because that was something that I was passionate about. I knew it, and there's so much opportunity that I wanted to seize on, and so I've been working on that, and in May I will have finished that.
That's super. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What sticks out in your mind as being a really key to your success in preparing you for your professional endeavors?
Part of my testimony in my life story is that Simpson really did kind of save my life and set me on a path that I'm proud of. Looking back at it, if you talk to people that knew me before I came to Simpson, you would know that just in life in general, I was headed down a path that I didn't necessarily want to be on. And when the opportunity opened up at Simpson, everything just seemed to fall in place. More than just the science classes, which were great, helped me learn a lot, stretched me. Just the on-campus environment, the extracurricular activities that I pursued and wanted to get involved with for the sake of developing myself. And then looking back at my experience, I find that just the enabling of a curiosity to discover the truth that I wanted to discover in science. For me, that was through science. I was passionate about discovering the world around me, looking at the world around me through a lens of fascination. And I feel like that sort of curiosity and fascination came through interacting with professors like you, where you develop that enthusiasm, that excitement, and that drive to pursue research. I appreciate our research experience where we were able to focus in on a project and potentially impact the environment and impact the world with what we were trying to do. The keen assiduity that you guys place in making sure that your students succeed, I hadn't experienced that before, and that really helped me believe in myself.
Excellent, excellent. And you mentioned research, and we did research together while you were at Simpson University. Tell me a little bit more about that experience.
Yes, one of the things that I'm extremely grateful for and know that played a significant impact on my career was our research project together at Simpson. We spend a lot of time looking at a topic of bioremediation, in my opinion. We worked with soil samples from Iron Mountain Mine, which is one of the most acidic water in the world. Mm-hmm. And you with your previous experience and based on research that we were reading up on, we thought that if we can possibly find certain organisms that could outcompete these sort of negative acid forming bacteria, mm-hmm. maybe there's a solution that where we can just maybe pour glucose or vinegar or something to stimulate these good bacteria to kind of remediate the problem. Being in the industry, I've interacted with people who have research experience from their undergraduate careers or from their schools and that don't. And oftentimes people who do have that background have a more informed foundation to be able to propel their career in a better way, more efficient way, in my opinion.
I want to switch gears a little bit. Some things have changed, and now we're offering a major in biotechnology. And our fundamental premise is to give students experience primarily within genetic engineering of organisms, and also to look at the regulatory environment. We're looking at ethics, we're looking at genetic engineering, and we're also looking at computational biology. So instead of just having one course in biotechnology, we now have a 4-course sequence that includes an internship. How do you think that type of program could impact somebody that's looking for a future in biotech?
I call biotechnology the sleeping giant because what I've seen is that biotechnology over the years has shown promise, but hasn't reached its full capacity yet. And so we're in a very unique time now where all this technology is catching up. Mm-hmm. And so now we have a lot of information that's coming out of this, and we're finally getting to a point where we're like, wow, we really don't understand a lot of what we thought we understood. Right. And biotechnology and the program specifically, especially with what you talked about, genetic engineering, you talked about bioinformatics, we talked about clinical and understanding the regulatory aspects and environment. When we understand truly all the interactions that the DNA, at the DNA level, at the RNA level, at the protein levels, how all these interplay, we're able to get a much more broader picture of whether it be disease, whether it be alternative fuel sources, whether it be dealing with crops and enabling them to produce more yield. All these type of things are kind of packed into biotechnology. It makes it very broad, and so there's so much potential. And that's where I think that having that biotech degree or that sort of a major is going to be very helpful, especially in the time today that we're in, where biotechnology is so much, it's growing very quickly. And biotech is a growing industry, a growing business. And so there's so much more opportunity. So if someone is passionate about doing lab-based bench work and research, that's a great path to go through. Biotechnology offers that avenue. Someone like me, where I'm interested in the business side of things, where I want to fuse both my knowledge of biology and understand how that can impact biotech startups or businesses like that, and how we can propel that further. That's a great opportunity. Then you have, as you mentioned, clinical and regulatory environments. You have people who work just as a main focus to be able to help these companies get their novel therapeutics and into the hands of people that need it the most. It's definitely something that has a great potential to boom and totally revolutionize the way we see therapeutics, the way we see science.
Now, I want to hone in on something a little bit more closer to home. And that is, you had lots of choices when you came to the United States from India, which is where you were essentially born and raised, and you had a lot of choices in terms of which university you could go to. You could go to state schools. You could even go to other universities that offer biotech programs. Why Simpson, and what do you think has made the difference in terms of your Simpson education versus an education that you could have gotten at a different university?
Thinking back to that time when I had to make the choice as to which school I needed to or I wanted to go to, I remember being in my car, having offers from a few schools, and just thinking to myself, okay, so all of these look attractive. I mean, where do I go? What do I do? For some reason, it felt like everything fell into place for Simpson. This felt right. So in the moment, I was just like, hey, this is the option that works. Let's just go with it. But in hindsight, I definitely think that it was one of the best decisions in my life, because it definitely propelled me in such a way to where I can merge my faith with my curiosity for science, my desire and pursuit for truth with the curiosity to want to know more about the world around me.
That's great.
And so looking back at my experience at Simpson, I think what really made my impact was the professors. The people here at Simpson really care. And I just felt that all the way through. And so that really helped me thrive while I was here, whether that be in grades, whether that be in my activities around campus, outside of campus, just being able to build relationships and build myself up to someone where I can be proud of.
What has your experience been like? I mean, a lot of Christians gulp hard when they think of science because they think of that as the world's domain. They think of it as a very secular domain. And if I could borrow a phrase, what's it been like for you being in Pharaoh's court?
One of the reasons why I feel like science is such a passion of mine is because I'm able to pursue my curiosity to discover the truth in the world that, in my belief, God created. To me, maybe this is my naive thinking, but I don't find that my faith and science conflict. I find that I am able to passionately pursue my curiosity for the world, to understand the world, but more in a deeper level, to understand the world that God created. And I remember sitting in a general biology class one day, the second course, the second series of that, and just being able to learn about plants and how, because they can't just pick up and move from place to place, they're able to adapt and have to adapt to be able to thrive. And to me, I just remember sitting there and I was like, oh my gosh, God, you're so good. You're just brilliant. I feel like science is still young. Science still has a lot to grow, a lot to do. And I feel like God, despite whether or not he used evolution or not, God still created the earth in my opinion, and I feel strongly about that, and I feel like God will definitely open the doors for me to understand more about him in the world around me that he created. And so that's what pursues me and pushes me forward in my faith and also in my career as a scientist. I want to become a scientist. I want to pursue my PhD. I want to develop therapeutics, tools that'll help people better their lives and give all the credit to God.